Thatcher and Riddle with Kurt in the middle. Who will claim victory? It's what's NXT.
Tell me why.
God.
Welcome, everybody, to What's NXT for May 27th, 2020. I'm your host, the Rated R reviewer, Stefan Osborne, joined as always by the General, Jerry Slaughter.
Happy birthday, Stefan.
Thank you. As it happens, we're doing the show on the 28th. We are back to 8:30 in the morning, live here on Aftermatch. Yeah, it feels good, though. Feels good. I'm 35, so...
35!
Let me go ahead and do a preemptive thank you to anybody in the chat room that leaves me a happy birthday, and a double thank you to Colin. All right, so this show starts off with the orgasm. It gives you the big one up front. Okay, so we're gonna end with the cage match. Sure, fine, good. Okay, yeah, end with the cage, duh. Mm-hmm. But we start the show with the triple threat for the last final spot for the Group A in the NXT Cruiserweight Championship Round Robin Tournament.
That's a lot.
We are going to put one of these three guys on to face El Hijo del Fantasma Jr. Probably going to just end up being Phantasma eventually. Because, I mean, was there ever really a Phantasma in WWE?
No, there wasn't.
So he'll just be like the second but the first. Meanwhile, Drake Maverick, Kushida, Jake Atlas. This was a fun match, a little bit clunky.
Clunky at the beginning. They finally fine-tuned things like towards the end. I think they weren't used to being in front of an audience again.
Fine-tuned is probably the wrong way to put it. Tuned. They tuned it.
They tuned it.
There was still
There's still static. You could hear the song, but there was still static.
Just a few botchy missteps. Nothing that prevented a move, but sure made it look weird. Mm-hmm. I've got a few notes for this. Probably not as many as I should, but a lot of the things that happen is just like regular stuff, but much faster.
Stuff that's happened before, yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the opener here?
I thought it was really cool. This is a match I was actually looking forward to the most for this broadcast.
Yes.
Because... it could have gone so many different ways. You could have had Jake Atlas turn on Drake Maverick. You could have had Drake Maverick betray Jake Atlas.
You could have had Tony Nese come out, because he didn't get a win over any of these sumbitches. All pissed off and bratty. Get in the ring, beat the shit out of all three of them with a chair or some shit.
Yep.
Cause a disqualification. Because how do you do that in a triple threat? Well, you just have a fourth dude come in and render the match unnecessary, because nobody can move. And then... I don't know what you go and do after that, but like this was okay for what it was. I'm surprised, but after the match was all said and done, I'm happy that they put it on first, because I don't think this should have closed the show the way the match was built.
It set the pace, is what it did for the show.
On the other hand, I believe the match would have been built differently had it been the main event of the show. So a little bit of give, a little bit of take. Meanwhile, let's see. I've got Kushida hitting Drake with a German suplex, but off of an Okada roll on Atlas. So he bridges the German and pins them both for a 2 count at the same time. However, Jake Atlas did not kick out by the 3.
No, he did not.
Drake Maverick did, because he was in the German, and that was the closest pinfall to the referee, but the referee was counting them both, and Atlas did not kick out of that Okada roll. But whatever. Let's see. He does catch Kushida doing that handspring elbow and catches him and hits him with a German with a bridge for a near fall. That was pretty cool.
Yes, it was.
He also hits, he goes for this ugly rainbow DDT to Maverick. Hits it.
He lands on his feet before he even nails the DDT.
Kushida jumps into the ring and breaks up the pinfall. Let's see what happens after that. Kushida hits that Sakuraba off the top rope into the cross arm breaker onto Jake Atlas. And then while he finally gets it in, Drake Maverick kind of crawls over and just throws an arm up over Jake Atlas and gets a pin, and the ref counts the pin. We don't see this until much later in the show. I guess they didn't realize that they didn't show it to us, but...
Well, they showed it right after the commercial break.
No, they showed the pinfall again, but they didn't show the tap out.
Well, I mean, they showed
until
the tap out. They showed the tap out after.
Anyway, difference of opinion as to when they did it. They didn't show us till later, but Jake Atlas actually tapped out to the cross arm breaker right before the 3 count hit, but it was on the other side of Drake Maverick. Ref didn't see it, didn't count. Drake gets the 3 count and the win. He moves on. Technically, I mean,
Colin says he liked the ending as well.
Yeah, you can call shenanigans here. There's room for that, but we are going to see an actual outcome before the end of the show as to whether it was shenanigans or not. Anyway, before we go off, El Hijo del Fantasma comes out and meets Drake Maverick over at this podium or the stand that's holding up the Cruiserweight Championship. It's not even the Cruiserweight Championship. It's a fake belt, man. Mm-hmm. Anyway, well, they're all fake because they all turn black. Anyway, this is just a little bit of friendly congratulations, but I'm going to win this. But Drake's like, I have to win this, so my bad to you, dog. Like, this is the only thing that's going to get my job back is for me to have leverage in the title. And this is cool. This is cool.
I had a thought like earlier today, and I told you about it. More about the Phantasma being responsible for the abduction of Raul Mendoza and Joaquin Wilde. The fact that Phantasma hadn't even debuted yet, and he was just like eliminating cruiserweights out of the picture so that he could easily just slide into his match.
And who do you think the other dudes, though, that are in the group that are under the masks? Who do you think they are?
I don't know. He probably picked them up from Home Depot or something.
There's got to be at least one more, because 2 of them picked up and kidnapped their first dude. Wasn't that Raul Mendoza?
Mm-hmm.
After that, it could have been Raul Mendoza and somebody else. So there has to be at least 2 others besides Wilde and Mendoza. And if one of them is El Hijo del Fantasma and he's getting ready to turn heel, what if the other one was Jake Atlas?
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Jake Atlas comes out like he's out there to root for Drake Maverick to win. Turns on Drake Maverick. Turns out he pulls out a fucking mask out of his back pocket, puts it over his head, and him and Phantasma bring out Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza.
Oh, that'd be so awesome. Kind of like a Mexican cartel kind of thing, like right in the middle of the ring. That'd be badass.
And that's where El Hijo del Fantasma becomes a super heel, because first he grabs the championship that was unfairly taken from the beloved Jordan Devlin. And in the meantime, he ensures that Drake Maverick does indeed get fired, and he goes away.
Uber heel.
Uber heel, man. That would be
for a guy that can barely
awesome.
Speak a lick of English. That's even better.
Not to mention, how good does that get over Jake Atlas in the process?
Mm-hmm. He's already shown like the heel demeanor with the bow and everything at the top of the stage.
A lot of ways they could go with this. I doubt any of it pans out.
Colin says he likes our ideas.
Yeah. Thanks, Colin. All right, Charlotte Flair is defending against Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai at NXT TakeOver in Yo House. But tonight, she is going to have a mystery partner, and it's going to be a tag match versus Ripley and Shirai. Now, here's the thing. Can Ripley and Shirai get along? I'm thinking this the whole time. I'm like, man, this makes no goddamn sense.
This is pretty much like your standard WWE operation system. Like, if you have two faces, pretty much are going to be squaring off against each other in a match, like at a pay-per-view, they always end up tagging with each other maybe like a week or 2 prior. Sometimes they even win the tag belts, like Austin and Michaels, or sometimes Mankind and The Rock, whatever.
Snap. Sorry, folks. It is my birthday, so I'm fielding that as well. I just think maybe somehow you have Charlotte and Io versus Ripley in an undisclosed opponent, but I always hate when they do this and they force a heel and a face into the corner together as a team,
mm-hmm.
and they have to pretend like, and it's like, I get it, you have a common enemy, but dude, you two were like fisticuffs
mm-hmm.
last week. She interrupted a match between the two of you that wasn't just a match. It was a grudge match. You two were tearing at each other the week before. Anyway, that's tonight. Meanwhile, Kurt Angle's shown backstage talking to Tim Thatcher. Ostensibly, he's telling him the rules of this cage fight. Not cage match. Cage fight we're having tonight. And there will be a difference, folks.
Mm-hmm.
Already what we know is that there is no pinfalls. It is only tap out or knockout.
Which is cool.
They shake hands, though, because Tim Thatcher's not the worst guy.
No, he's a professional.
Oh, my God. He is the worst guy. He shouldn't have shook. He should have been like, whatever, Kurt, get out of here.
Nah, you have to remember, he's ring comp, okay? He's got respect for the ring.
It's sacred.
Yes.
Johnny Gargano comes out with Candice LeRae. This is new. I dig it. I don't know how original it is, really, but...
I love everything about his new entrance, his new music, his just...
the
whole demeanor is just awesome.
Entrance is a different thing. I don't know about the new music. Not as memorable as his old music, but I guess he does need something different.
He needs something more menacing.
Well, his old music is clearly face music, and they know what they're doing in NXT, as opposed to Raw, where Ruby Riott, who has basically always been a heel, has always had babyface music.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they come out and say that the Gargano way is not about getting rid of people. It's about making NXT better. And tonight, they are introducing the first ever Johnny Gargano Invitational, where they're going to give an up-and-comer an opportunity at Johnny Gargano. In this case, his name is Adrian Alanis Morissette. And, no, just Alanis. And we have a little match here. He comes out. He tries to beat Johnny. He doesn't beat Johnny, of course. And that was, what would you think?
That super kick was just vicious.
Yeah, there's a little bit of offense, but mostly he just turns around from the corner at one point, runs full speed into a super kick from Johnny Gargano, who toys with him a second and then puts him in a Gargano escape and the tap, and there you go. But he gets up and he's ready to celebrate the win with Candice LeRae, but up on the Tron, up on the screen comes Mia Yim and Keith Lee, and this was the best part of the segment.
Yes, it was. I was expecting it to be extremely hokey, and it really wasn't. They just added a little bit of, we're going to say, urban flavor to it. And the idea of the whole flashlight thing was just brilliant, and Keith Lee was just on point with his humor.
Yeah, Mia Yim is talking to Candice LeRae, and she's mocking her. But she mocks her, the format of the video. She takes a flashlight and shines it up under her chin like you would do around a campfire for a ghost story. And she starts saying things, and they edit the sound into like this, like deep, guttural grunt. Anyway.
And it's all black and white and everything.
These two are having a match next week. And then Keith Lee is like, whoa, what the fuck?
It's like, what were you doing?
Well, first of all, what's for dinner?
He pretty much broke the fourth wall completely. He's like, what are you doing?
He's like, what was that? How did you? And she's like, here, just try it. She gives him the flashlight, and he shines it up under, and he's like, oh, it's so bright. And she's like, just try it, and then it does the change in the videography. And he talks about Johnny Gargano. These two are having a match.
Being the same size as his action figure, which I thought was just great.
Yeah, I think I have a note about that.
Yep.
I was just winging it here. Let's see. Mia ordered takeout for Gargano's Pizza. And in comes Tegan Knox with a pizza box. Damn, that's why they used her.
Yeah.
She comes in, puts it down, says... I guess it was super late, and she's like, I'm still hungry. She takes a slice out of the box, leaves one slice in it for the two of them. And, yeah. I don't know. This was, I guess the payoff here makes the last promo from Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae worth it. Because the first one was great, The second one was like, you didn't need to do it again.
No.
But to do it twice and then this to be the payoff, making fun of them, this was fun.
But it's also already been said before, but now it gets reconfirmed that we're getting Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano at In Your House.
Yep. Then we get an interview with Drake Maverick backstage, and Kushida comes out because Drake Maverick's like, look, the ref counted the pinfall. He gave me the victory, but I don't care what I have to do.
He's ready to wrestle another match.
Yeah, he said if I have to face Kushida or I have to face both of them again or whatever, then so be it. And then Kushida comes out and he looks at Maverick and he, in his best English he can, he says, "You fight for the championship."
Yep, you go win.
You go win. Smacks him on the chest. And Maverick says, well, I tell you what, when I do this and I go and I win the championship, Kushida's going to get the first match against me for the title. And that makes sense because they're both faces and whatnot.
But you also said, like, watch Drake Maverick win only to lose the belt to Kushida and get fired afterwards.
Yeah, if that whole thing with Fantasma doesn't happen and Drake Maverick actually does win the championship, he'll give Kushida the first championship shot. It'll be the first Wednesday after the show, and Kushida will beat him. And then before the next Wednesday, he'll get one of those. He'll have one of those Twitter videos telling him that he got fired again. Anyway, Marcel Bartel and Fabian Eichner, they get a promo, and this was great.
Yeah. Just them setting up for Lorcan and Birch at this point, saying that they're like they don't deserve to be in a ring with them. The usual, Imperium socialist behavior.
They're the champs, and it's going to stay that way because the ring is sacred and
the mat is sacred.
They're sacred, and Danny Birch and Oni Lorcan are not sacred. But
and they even name drop Walter in there too. So I was thinking about this. How awesome would an actual match between Walter, Eichner, and Bartel versus Finn Balor and Lorcan and Birch actually be? I think it'd actually be a pretty decent match. You
had me until you added Lorcan and Birch.
Well, I think just with their Smash Mouth style, I think they'd be like them trying to throw European uppercuts at Walter and failing. That'd be great.
Man, I've seen them wrestle dozens of matches, both as a tag team and as singles competitors, and less than a handful of matches that I would ever watch again. Ever. And it wasn't because of them, it was because of their opponents.
You think from England and Boston that their tea would be better? A little sweeter.
So, yeah, they name drop Walter, who we haven't seen in a long time. Sucks, because we do another show called the NXT Party, where we're supposed to be covering that shit, and there is no NXT UK right now.
That would be a great payoff for the end of Finn Balor versus Damian Priest if, like, all of a sudden Finn Balor wins, and he's celebrating, and all of a sudden Walter's theme hits, and he just hits the stage. By that time, who knows? Maybe he'll actually be able to make a flight over.
They let him.
They should.
Once he does, he's got to be in quarantine for 2 weeks. Some shit like that. I don't know. Okay, so Shotzi Blackheart comes out.
Oh, before we move on, Cleaver said he'd like to see Gallus and Balor versus Imperium. That would be insane.
My live chat isn't loading. There it is.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay, so Shotzi Blackheart comes out. Her music's awesome. Her tank is, at this point, I think it's a little ridiculous. Once you see her on a real tank, this is just
But she's got the energy to her. She's got the crowd eating out of her hands, all 20 of them.
Yeah, they do have. We forgot to mention this. They do have the fellow NXT Performance Center people.
I saw Xia Li in the audience and automatically got happy because that means I wouldn't see her in action.
But we also saw Bugenhagen in the audience, which means
Boogs was on there on Raw too.
Yeah, Boogs. Where is the Boogs?
We need the Boogs.
Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai, whose shorts keep getting shorter and shorter, as Jerry mentions. Kind of love her Taylor. Anyway, this match.
I'm pretty sure she's her own Taylor.
Okay. It went longer than I thought it would.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of different things going on in this match. You have, like, at one point I had to ask you, who do you think's greener in the ring right now? Raquel's still trying to show what she has, and right now it's really not a lot. She's not the best big woman that we've actually seen in the ring. I even
Not
think
the worst.
I actually still think Jazzy Gabbert was actually a little bit better than her at this point, and that really doesn't say much.
That really does not.
So this match was actually really cool. Like, it took a completely different turn than what I thought it was going to, right down to the finish. I did not expect Raquel Gonzalez to win this match. But at the same time, you even pointed out at the beginning of the match that either one of these two could stand to get the victory at this point because they're both new to the company and they really don't have a lot of wins under their belt, except for Shotzi's super duper impressive turn in the last chance gauntlet.
Well, if they're both at the same level in momentum or whatever you want to call it, if they're both at the same level, then definitely Gonzalez should win because she's got the size and she's got backup on the outside, and she's a heel. She's not afraid to use it, so automatically she should win. But the numbers odds change at one point in the match after Dakota Kai decides to start trying to tear apart the tank. She gets in it and she backs it away from the ring and she starts like ripping shit out of it. And then, lo and behold, Tegan Knox, her arch nemesis, dum dum dum, former best friend, dum dum dum.
Different shirt because she's wearing the Latino Heat shirt for the skit, and now she's wearing her own shirt for this part.
Yeah, she comes out and like just kicks her out of the tank, and then starts beating her up. But then Candice LeRae comes out and starts getting in her face. This brings the ref outside. He's like, "All of y'all need to get the fuck out of here.
Bitches be tripping. Get out."
Meanwhile, in the ring, Shotzi goes for Bulldog, I think, but she ends up getting put up into the top rope up in the corner. But then Dakota Kai comes over and trips her off of it, so she goes like gut first into the corner, but like face first into her helmet, which is sitting on the top of the post. And then Reina Gonzalez picks her up off of it, like cradles her like an infant, pulls her into the ring and picks her up and just bombs her.
It looked like almost like a one-arm power bomb that she was trying to go for, but it looked close.
She didn't have her arm in through the legs. Yeah. She had her lifted up like you would hold an infant, but up here, and then just lifted her up and slammed her down. 1, 2, 3. Gonzalez gets the win. They go to leave.
We'll just call it the cradle will fall.
Nice. Speaking of nice, Finn Balor and Damian Priest got some shit going on. They're going to have a match at TakeOver in Your House. And we get a video package for this. And I think most of what Damian Priest said here was from previous promos. But Finn Balor's shit was new, and Balor is just great here. I didn't even bother writing it down because I can't do it justice.
No. Balor's just a badass.
It's your finger there. Or,
yeah.
Better. Yeah.
Not really sure.
Who knows?
Alright.
So.
Who we met in Toronto.
Oh, goddamn. Yeah, this guy.
Yep, that guy.
That guy.
We really need to print out that picture in case we do get to meet him for an autograph signing or something and be like, hey, check it out. We met you in Toronto.
Would you sign this for us? Yeah, print it out, definitely.
Or just even like, if he even said, it's like, I know you too. Toronto!
Probably.
Yes! Another picture of me looking like a spaz.
So here's our women's tag team match. This is going to top off the end of the first hour, lead us into the second hour. So hopefully people don't change the channel during commercials. Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai come out. Charlotte comes out. And who's your tag team partner? Well, fuck. Who's left?
Yeah.
And Jerry called it. Only person left.
I called it yesterday. I called it on the last show. Chelsea Green
comes out with Robert Stone, who's super excited for Chelsea to be in a match with Charlotte Flair.
He's like the queen and the princess. I made this happen.
This match was fine for what it was. Rhea gets on top for a while, which I wish I could say for real. Anyway, not Io. See, because Io's the heel. God damn it. Charlotte and Chelsea take over, but eventually the tag is made. Not really a hot tag, but Rhea kind of stumbles back into the corner and Io tags herself in. For a second, the commentators make out like Ripley should be angry, like, because Io tagged herself in, and shouldn't they be worried about this? And I'm like, what the fuck else was she supposed to do? Like, Ripley needed help for a moment. Like, this is tag team wrestling. She tags herself in. Like, they made more of it than it should have been, but there should have been more of it. Like, it should have been some angle where it seemed like Io really did steal the tag, where it was unnecessary because Io wants to get her hands on Charlotte for coming out and ruining their match last week and kicking her in the face. Anyway, let's see, what else do I have for this? Let's see, Green and Shirai both trade Suicidas, so this is probably the coolest move we've seen out of Chelsea Green.
Chelsea Green about leaves the stage, leaves the arena. Like, she dove so far, she almost like landed in the crowd.
She landed, I believe, I would say on top of Io Shirai, but I think she landed on her shoulder. And Io Shirai is strong enough that she prevented that momentum from taking Chelsea Green face first over the barricade.
I was about to say, we completely overshot Shotzi Blackheart's like freaking stage dive thing she did, where she like
Oh yeah, I've got it mentioned.
Yeah, but that was just vicious looking. That was a horrible landing.
She did a trust fall off the top rope onto both Dakota Kai and
to two people she shouldn't be trusting.
Yeah, yeah, because she went back of the head into the mat outside. Might have even been the ramp or just the ground at the, I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Io Shirai breaks up a figure 8 with a running Meteora. That was pretty cool. But at the end of the match, Flair's over in the good guys corner, and Io Shirai goes to do some running move, and she ducks out of the way. Shirai knocks Rhea Ripley off the side of the ring. That's when Charlotte Flair rolls up Io Shirai real quick, and around the 2 count, puts her legs on the ropes to get the heel victory and the pinfall. 1, 2, 3. Charlotte wins. I'm sure Chelsea Green is super happy.
Robert Stone was.
He's probably like, he's ready to recruit Charlotte Flair into the Robert Stone brand.
I was about to say, there was really no other payoff to this match, though, because at the end of it, Rhea Ripley's just screaming on the outside of the ring, and Io Shirai's hurting inside the ring itself. There's really no confrontation between those two, even though there's a miscalculation that caused them the match.
So backstage, we get an interview with Candice LeRae and Johnny Gargano talking about Mia Yim and Keith Lee. Johnny says he's going to see Keith Lee at TakeOver for the North American title.
The interviewer called the segment entertaining right to their face.
Yeah, you got anything to say about Keith Lee and Mia Yim's entertaining?
Yeah.
That's where they cut him off. Entertaining.
It would be the first time like people got called out on being like, you know, the pot calling the kettle black by the end of the night, though.
Candice LeRae says that she's going to see Mia Yim next week, and for some reason mentions Tegan Knox should be ashamed of herself.
Mm-hmm.
The fuck?
Well, Tegan was in that video, plus she like interjected herself into that match, even though Candice did the same damn thing.
Yeah. So Kurt Angle's backstage now talking to Matt Riddle, who seems to understand the rules of the cage fight, and he goes for a handshake, and Riddle is the one that doesn't shake Kurt Angle's hand. Instead, he goes for a fist bump. Kurt Angle understands. Fist bumps him, I guess. And there you go.
Colin said he hopes that Charlotte drops the belt to take over. I think we all do, but I don't know if I want it dropped on Rhea or if I want Io Shirai win it for the first time.
I don't know.
Because either way, I think it'd be cool to, like, Charlotte Flair did not get pinned in the match.
So we were talking about Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and as if NXT was reading our minds, they're like, okay, here's a little video promo package.
Let's hype them up a little bit.
A lot of new stuff, but...
Not gonna lie, I trailed off.
Doesn't do anything for me, man. Even as good as NXT is with these fucking video packages, it just doesn't do anything.
Shotzi's last week was awesome, and it wasn't just for the tank. We got a lot of backstory on her, and she was actually captivating. These two are wet mops.
Yeah.
They're the types that Paul Heyman needs to be managing because he could be their mouthpiece and be entertaining. These two, not so much.
Not so much.
No.
Leon Ruff versus, and he called it again right before the music hit, Tommaso Ciampa.
It's only fair. Ciampa, Cross got to beat up on Ruff like last week or the week before, so it's only fair that Ciampa gets to do the same damn thing.
So Ciampa comes out, and for some reason Scarlett Bordeaux, or just Scarlett, comes out and stands on the rampway and observes and distracts Ciampa just long enough for Ruff to go for a fruit roll-up, which he doesn't get, and Ciampa kind of just like runs and kicks him in the head with it, or hits him in the head with a knee, and then sends him into the corner. And this is the first time I've seen this. Somebody's like resting, knocked down on the bottom rope in the corner, and Ciampa does a chop across his chest while he's down there. That was cool. Hit that, pulls him out, sets him up for the longest time, hits a fairy tale ending, 1, 2, 3, all the while staring down Scarlett, who turns to leave when Tommaso wins. When she gets to the top of the ramp, we get Karrion Kross, Killer Kross, whatever, on the Tron, and he says a lot of nothing, but basically says, TikTok, because they're having a match at TakeOver in your house.
What I really loved about the whole thing is Scarlett, yeah, she's hot, but at the same time, the way she was just staring at Ciampa through the entire match, it was unsettling.
That was hot too. Oh, yeah, totally unsettling.
No, you're busy staring at her boots the entire time.
Her boots.
Yes.
She did have some tall boots, but no.
They're made for walking, and that's
sadly,
just what
I was
they'll
disappointed this Eve because she had this long leather coat jacket thing. Anyway.
She can't dress like a turbo slut every week.
I'm sure she was underneath that. Anyway.
It probably is.
Next week, we get Drake Maverick versus Hijo del Fantasma for the Cruiserweight title. We get Mia Yim versus Candice LeRae, and this is already starting to sound like the pre-show for TakeOver.
Yeah.
Because we also get what they call Prime Target. We're going to get looks at Io Shirai versus Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley, and we are going to get looks at Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream.
I always like those because those are just like bigger versions of video packages that almost feel like a real life biography.
Now, I missed something here. After Angle, before the video promo for Oni Lorcan and Danny Burch, we got a Skype call between William Regal and Adam Cole.
Yeah.
My bad, folks. This happens occasionally. They're calling this negotiations. Cole was supposed to have a 1-year title celebration this week. I don't know why they couldn't do it. I guess NXT couldn't afford the champagne or something. I don't know.
I think it's like storyline wise. I think it's just the fact that Adam Cole didn't want it disrupted by Velveteen Dream.
What's up, Nate Spain? Cleaver says Scarlett is the definition of a wet dream. Yeah. Yeah, in the Illustrated Dictionary, she's right there. Let's see. Adam Cole says that he demands that Undisputed Era, first of all, deserve a rematch for the tag championships, which they never should have lost in the first place. Blah blah blah.
Because they were completely unprepared.
Yeah. And he says he wants Velveteen Dream out of his business. He beat him, and he should be in his history, not his future. Blah blah blah. And Regal basically says, I don't know why you ask for things that honestly don't make any sense. Like,
it's like you keep on making all these demands and everything. You keep on forgetting I'm the one in charge, and whatever I say goes.
And he's like, that match between you and Velveteen Dream is probably going to happen, and it's probably going to happen at TakeOver in your house.
But not in your house, somewhere else.
Cole says, and he says, look, this is supposed to be like negotiations, like some, we both get something. And Cole says, well, look, if you, I will do the match, but when I win, I want you to say that this is the last time Velveteen Dream ever gets a shot at this title while it's mine. And instead, Regal says, I will grant you the match, and I will make sure that it is a venue that is going to spotlight
deserving
both of
and
you.
it has a spotlight, yeah.
Because Cole kept complaining that Velveteen Dream always has a spotlight on him and his couch. I don't know,
Ooh,
something
how
like
about a rooftop match like they kind of did with the Money in the Bank, but with a helicopter with a spotlight on it?
Nuts. I was hoping for like an actual theater.
That'd actually be really
like
cool.
a concert hall.
That'd be cool too. But like, if they're going to be using what they have, like Full Sail or anything like that, if they're going to have anything on the roof, they can do it that way.
But dude, this would be the closest we'd see WWE getting to actually duplicating WTF, which is a South Park episode. No, that's the... never mind. Oh, my bad. Thank you. So that was that, and at NXT TakeOver, we are indeed going to get that match. I guess it's going to be a cinematic match.
Yep.
Cool. Fine with me.
That'll be the cinematic match of the night.
Meanwhile, we get a video package for Matt Riddle and Tim Thatcher and all of that drama all the way back to the, what was it, the Bro something...
The Broly Wed show, yeah. The Newly Bros show.
There we go. The Broly Weds.
The Broly Weds, that works too. The Broly Wed game.
This is going to lead us into the main event. Welcome to the main event. Okay, so...
Bing, bing.
This is the closest that we are ever going to get probably to a Lion's Den match. This is the square Lion's Den. It is the cage on the ring, but the ring has no ropes. And the cage has scaffolding around it to support a platform at the top that is, I don't know, 3 feet, maybe 4 feet across.
Let's put it this way, folks. It's gorgeous. It is one of the finest looking cages I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And I saw the weapons in Toronto.
This thing is built just like a lion's den. You have the mat, you have the cage, you have the platform at the top that you can stand on. It doesn't have the angle, and it's not an octagon.
It does have an angle.
Good one. Kurt Angle, the referee. Tim Thatcher comes out. Matt Riddle comes out. They lower themselves into the cage. And this was great. At one point, Matt Riddle does a disaster kick off of the cage, kicks Thatcher in the face. Thatcher goes down, spits out some teeth and some blood, and holy crap, Matt Riddle kicked his front tooth in half.
Yep.
He literally spits out his own teeth, picks them up, gives them to the ref, who now has gloves on. Doctor comes out, shines a flashlight into his mouth real quick, and says, well, he's good to go. He says he's good to go. He's good to go.
Is there a doctor in the house?
They continue the match, and there you go. And if Tim Thatcher had coronavirus, now everybody besides the ones behind the splash guard, thank God for the splash guard, now have it.
But both Colin and Nate say that they agree this is probably Riddle's send-off match, and Nate actually says he's going to be on SmackDown tomorrow.
Matt Riddle?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Of all the people we thought it was a send-off, Matt Riddle? Holy crap. Let's see. Thatcher then Riddle climb to the top of the platform. I think Riddle goes for a move, and Thatcher gets his arms up on it and then just pulls himself up. And Riddle gets up there. Somehow, eventually, Thatcher gets an ankle lock on Matt Riddle, who gets draped over the side of the platform into the ring, has to crawl back up, kick his way out. Let's see. They end up back in the ring. Riddle hits a knee. Oh, no. This is still up top. Riddle hits a running knee kick, a flash knee, and knocks Riddle off of the scaffolding into the ring, and then does a floating bro off of the scaffolding to him. Let's see. They get back up, and Tim ducks Matt, who goes face first into the actual posts on the cage, which this is the cage that we love, the NXT cage, the one that's built real fucking solid. And I'm so glad people are putting faces into the post, because they always go face first into the chain link, and it's we can see that doesn't do anything.
Yeah. If anything, that is a different rope.
So meanwhile, Thatcher puts a rear naked choke on Riddle, who tries to get out of it by running him back first into the net, the mesh of the cage. and then drops him down just long enough for him to fall back, but then he immediately locks the choke back on, and Matt Riddle passes out. Angle pulls his arm up. I think he only does it twice. Maybe he did it 3 times.
He did it 3 times, but it was very, very fast.
And he actually pushed his arm down when he let go. I noticed that.
Yeah.
But whatever. Riddle passes out. Match is over. Tim Thatcher wins.
Or maybe this was like a Montreal screw job type thing, and he wasn't supposed to lose the match. Who knows? But my favorite spot in the entire match was like
He legit passed out.
Riddle like bouncing off of the cage and like doing like a flying kick of justice to Thatcher's
What
head.
if he's so pissed off about him knocking his teeth out, he legit makes him pass out? For real, for real. Who knows, man? Who knows? Meanwhile, that brings us to the end of the main event, and here on What's NXT, we like to rate the main event using the General's 5-star, well, just one, 5-star rating system. Jerry, out of 5 stars, how do you rate this cage fight? With Kurt Angle as the ref, nonetheless, who really wasn't.
Kurt Angle was really.
He was
like,
just there wearing sweatpants.
Yeah, he and doing like the "you suck" thing very unenthusiastically. But I'd have to probably give it 3 3/4, if anything, for the cage itself and the effects that went into it, whether it be real or not. Like Thatcher spitting out his teeth. That added a lot to the match right there.
For a minute, we thought it was fake, but then we saw him at the end. He smiled sort of, and one of his front 2 teeth was cracked or like split in half. Like
I think it was meant to happen, or I think that spot was meant to happen, but I think he like brought his head up like too soon, and that's where Riddle kicked him. Kind of like how Joey Mercury lost his face.
Yeah, I don't think he was meant to bleed or lose his teeth.
But I'm going to go ahead and give it an extra quarter off the back of it. Well, I thought it was a decent show. So, 4 stars total.
I don't want to call this a great match in and of itself. So, well, it's got some story leading into it, but actually, you know what? Based on the story, the fact, I was going to give it some extra anyway. Based on the story and the fact that this is basically the reinvention of the Lion's Den.
A sweet looking one.
And we got to witness it, and
I'm going to start it.
I'm going to start it at 4 and not give it a 1/4 star off the back of a great show, because I don't think it was a great show.
That still works.
But I'm going to give this match a solid 4 stars, because that cage, dude. I didn't think that cage could get better, and then they surprised me.
4 1/4 out of Nate Spain, and 4 for Colin with an extra 1/4 for Drake picking up the win. So 4 1/4.
I guess we're
the jaded ones, but it's also the fact that I'm pretty much tired.
We do this every week, folks. We know a good show when we see one. We know what a main event is worth. Anyway, I guess if anybody has any questions for us to hit up at the end, this is normally like this is the end of the show, folks.
This is the plug part.
Yeah,
this is the part where I don't die.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. Join us tomorrow. We should be going live with something. We normally do, so we will continue to. Maybe NXT UK's got something fresh for us. Maybe a Hidden Gems Part 2.
That'd be great.
That would be great.
Hidden Gems Part 1 was actually pretty entertaining.
Yeah, you can go watch our review of that. There was actually 2 women's title matches. We had Shayna Baszler defending the NXT Championship, and we had Toni Storm defending the NXT UK Championship. So, there you go. Meanwhile, thank you for joining us here. Please join us there. If you'd like to join us on a show in the future and help us review something, we do different shit. Leave down in the comments a way for us to get a hold of you, or you can get a hold of us. Find me at nodq.com/Stefan. That's STEFAN. If you just want to look me up on Twitter, it's at Stefan R. Osborne, OSBORNE. And as always, the R stands for something or other. Restricted. You can also find the Fuckbomb, the gentleman, on Twitter.
At Gerald_JSJ, my Facebook group Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR, exclamation point. Find a shirt at Teesprings under the Greg Cherry brand. Also, we are still on NoDQ as well. NoDQ.com /NXT. That's what it is, I believe.
NoDQ.com/NXT.
Yep.
That'll bring you here.
Yep. It'll bring you right back where you are right now. So it's whatever. If that's how you found it initially, awesome.
But
also, we have Aftermatch Wrestling on Facebook, and Aftermatch_wrestling for Instagram, ran by Colin Cleaver Andrew, and also Aftermatch Rest on Twitter, where we take the ling out of wrestling.
Whatever the fuck that means.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at Osborne.Stefan. He's on Instagram at
the_gentleman_slaughter.
And we're both on Patreon, despite the name, at Stefan R. Osborne. That's just contribute to the show if you can. But if you have some time, the best contribution you can give us is the ones that are quick and easy. If you like the show, click the like button. Up and down. No, over here. Down there.
Colin says he does this every week too, broski.
If you like all of our shows, then seriously, do yourself a favor, click the subscribe button that's over there. That's going to let you know, when our shows go on. And if you want to know when they go on live and join us in the mornings for them, click the bell icon next to that.
And we will wake your ass up.
If you have a smart TV, you can do all of this. There's like extra options, and we will give you time to do so. Meanwhile, if you want to help us out and help the channel grow, the best way to do that is to click the share button over here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And share us on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or wherever.
Tumblr, Tinder, Pornhub, wherever you want to go, just put our names there.
If you have friends that like to watch wrestling, they might like to watch us bullshit about wrestling. I think that's all the plugs.
And Nate says happy birthday as well.
Thank you, Nate. Colin says, I do this every week too, broski.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. I guess no questions.
No questions.
All right. For the General Jerry Slaughter, I'm the Wizard Stefan Osborne. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you in NXT time.